Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Cassandra Terry Morning Show. It is Transformation Tuesday, and we are ready to get this party started. Let's get this week revved up. Let's get excited about life. Let's take a look at what it is we can do to have the life that we desire. That takes transformation. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen like that. It takes work. It is a process. And when we commit to a thing, regardless of what that thing is, we have to realize it is a process. Things will come up. Life is going to life. Obstacles will show themselves. But when we're committed, we will do what is necessary for us to move from where we are to where it is that we're trying to go. If we just look at our lives as a journey, we've traveled so far in the life that we've lived up until this point. But the journey's not over. It's not over until it's over. So if there's other milestones that you want to hit, there's other places along the way that you want to visit during this trip of your lifetime, you have to decide what those places are. What are those milestones? It starts with awareness. Everything does, right? Where do you want to go? What do you want to see? Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? When we're asking ourselves those big philosophical questions, it's not just for conversation's sake. It's like, oh, there she goes again. She's always talking about this mindset stuff. I am always talking about this mindset stuff because that mindset stuff determines the type of life I'm having. All greatness could be happening around me, but if my mindset's not right, I'm not going to experience that greatness. I will find the issue in everything because that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm accustomed to. My life has been traumatic, so I'm expecting trauma. I've had a lot of drama, so I'm expecting people to not get along with me. I've been sick in my past, so I'm looking for that next thing that's pointing me to sickness. If that's how your mind is working, I guarantee you that's what you're going to find. Whatever it is that you seek, that is what you will find. So I'm just asking you to be mindful about what you're seeking, what you're focused on, what you're looking for. That in and of itself is a transformation of the mind. It's a transformation of how we think and how we focus and what we allow in to our lives. The thoughts are going to come and go. Our brains are constantly firing and thoughts are coming up. Some of them are valid, some of them are not. Some of them are real, some of them are not. But it's the ones that we focus on. Those are the ones that we give value. And in giving them that value, they control how we experience our lives. I've seen people in the most dire straits, all kinds of trauma and drama and things going on in their life. But they have a smile on their face because they believe in something and they don't think that this is how it's going to always be. And they're looking forward to things looking up. We see people all the time with all the riches that this world has to offer. We know them by name as if, they were neighbors because they've been beamed into our living rooms and our bedrooms and on our devices for a long time. They seem to have it all. And the next thing you hear, they're in trouble. They're in rehab. They've attempted to take their lives. Those external things are just that, things that are external, outside of who you really are. And they can make life more comfortable. They can bring you some happiness. They can do all kinds of things for you. But if what's happening on the inside is not right. It doesn't matter what's going on the outside. If what's going on the outside is difficult, but what's going on in the inside is light and joyful. Again, it doesn't matter nearly as much what's happening on the outside. Our internal transformation is where it all needs to begin, because that's where real change, real transformation, real opportunity, real joy, where our real life is taking place. We focus on all this stuff that we see, feel, hear, smell, touch, but how we actually experience those things is tied so directly to how we think, how we process. I can look at a fire and I can think how hot it is, and it's making me uncomfortable in my clothes. And I can have a real bad relationship with fire, where the next person can look at fire and be grateful that it gives them warmth, grateful that it keeps the insects and the critters away, grateful that it heats up their food to a temperature that they like. It's the same fire, but how are you looking at it, right? We have those experiences in our life all the time throughout our lives. The experiences can be the same. The external trappings may not change right away, but how you process them, how you deal with them, what you're focusing on during those times absolutely has a bearing on how you experience your life, how much joy you have. It's not pretending that the bad times don't happen. That's a waste of time. And it's only a matter of time before we kind of blow up when we're pressing our emotions down. So that's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to pretend. We acknowledge what's going on. But after we acknowledge it, then we have a choice to make. Am I going to allow it to take over and overwhelm and put me in a negative space and have me so upset that I can't function? Or am I going to realize that just like every storm, this one can pass? It will pass, and I'll be stronger for getting through it. And I started looking for the solution and focused on the fact that there is a solution. I started looking for the gift and what I'm going to learn in this season, as hard as this season may be. And in making that choice, I experienced that season much differently, much differently. And it may seem that you get through it quicker. 24 hours is still 24 hours, but man, they're long when you're miserable. It feels like days, right? People who stare at the clock at the end of the workday know what I mean. You know, it feels like your breaks, the weekends fly by, and that workday can drag on forever. 24 hours. All depends on how we're looking at it, what we're focused on. We have so much power. We have so much power over how our lives unfold, how we experience that unfolding. And it all begins here. So that transformation that we talk about every Tuesday, the most important transformation that you'll ever make is the transformation of your mind. Because when you transform your mind, that seeps into your spirit, which seeps into how you think and how you see and how you focus. And then it begins to affect how you show up, what you do, what your experiences are like. It all starts with the mind. I see lots of comments that have come in so far. So let me take a look and see who's here and what you guys are sharing. And I'll share the quote, and then I'm going to give it over to Brian so I can adjust this throat of mine. I'm still a little bit on the struggle bus, but I'm getting better every day. Camille says, good morning, all. Hello, beautiful Camille. My mom said, good morning, fam. Camille shared that the journey is never over, even through our legacy, but it starts with what we do in the now. Absolutely. Facts about where we focus and expectations lay. Yeah. Kim says, morning all, happy Tuesday. Sonia says, good morning, fam. Hey, Sonia, it was good to see you this weekend. And Camille says, wow, you are speaking so much power today. Fire. I wish I could share this session on my page and group. Everyone needs to hear it. You can. It'll be recorded. You can share it right now while it's live, Camille. Or if you're not in a position to do it now, you can just forward it after it's over, because the recording is there forever, and you could always hit that share button below, and you can either push it to a page if it's the on the same platform that you're on right now, or you can grab a link to share it to other pages. So absolutely feel free to share any of our morning show episodes. And while I'm thinking of it, you guys share it right now. Share it directly with somebody. Share it to your pages, but also invite somebody in that you know could be beneficial. I'm starting to call you guys my ambassadors. And with your help, we can continue to grow our audience and have more and more people be affected by what we are talking about and what we're doing, and also have new ideas and points of view shared as the new folks come in as well. Thank you, Kim, for sharing. I appreciate it. Let's see. Did I miss anyone? I don't think so. Let me get our quote, and we're going to jump into that. Transformation isn't a future event. It is a present day activity. Jillian Michals. Jillian Michals, you guys may have saw her on Biggest Loser. I've been trying to think of the name of that for days, but that's what it is, The Biggest Loser. She was the female fitness coach on The Biggest Loser, and she worked with people who were battling obesity and helped them with their nutrition and their workouts. And a lot of the work they did was mindset work. A lot of it is mindset. Whenever it is you're trying to go through something, or when you find yourself in a position to where you're doing things that you know are not in your best interest, there's something underneath that. There's something underneath it. And part of what they did on the Biggest Loser was to help those folks figure out what was going on. What was their relationship with food? What was their internal relationship? What was going on there, so that they could not just lose the weight for that season, but actually get into a healthy lifestyle. So they maintained it and continued to get healthier and healthier. So she was a powerful being. She was a kind of an in-your-face, tell it like it is type of a coach. But I really enjoyed watching her. And this quote of hers is so applicable to what we talk about and how we talk about transformation. It is a process. So there's some future in it, but it has to start right now. In order for that transformation to happen, it begins with what you do now. How you show up now, how you speak now, the work that you're willing to do now is what shapes your future. So transformation in and of itself is not a future event. You may reap the benefits of it down the road in the future. But if you ever want to get to those benefits, you have to start in the now, where all our real activity exists. What happened yesterday, last year, last month, the beginning of our lives, our childhood, history. We can't change any of it. We can change how we see it. We can change how we process it and how we use it, but we can't change the actual events. And what's going to happen in the future, the only way we can affect that is by what we do right now. So transformation isn't a future event. It is a present day activity. I see one more comment, and then I'm going to mute Brian and give you the opportunity to share your thoughts on transformation as well. Camille said, shared here, but can I also share on my Facebook? Absolutely. You and I are connected on Facebook, and it's live there right now, and it'll be recorded there as well, Camille. So probably the easiest way to do that is just to go to your Facebook, go to my page, and share it from there. And then I think it'll be a cleaner share than if you share it from LinkedIn to Facebook. So yes, I'm on all the socials, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. I feel like I forgot one, but I'm everywhere right now. So whichever of those that you subscribe to, you're on those platforms, you can share it there. Beverly Bailey, she says, exactly. Good morning, everyone. Great to see you there, Bev. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, Brian, I'm going to try to nurture this throat a little bit. I'm going to pitch it to you for you to share your thoughts on transformation.
Thank you, Cassandra. Go ahead and take it through it. Grand rising, everyone. It's a lovely day to be alive on this side of the grass. I gotta say, we're talking about transformation, and what I want to talk about is the actual act of being transformed. Like, how do you recognize it? When I was younger, I used to have a really, really, really bad temper. My mom worked years to change those habits that that would be the catalyst to getting my temper to a point where I couldn't control it. I was so angry. I would black out and I would forget what I had done. And she worked for years. I remember the day when it clicked. Hey, you gotta stop doing this. And then I remember the day when I actually saw the work that my mom had been doing actually worked. I'm getting chill bumps right now. Think about it. I remember that day so vividly, and it was a real turning point. Right, that transformation was a turning point in my life. And yesterday I saw the exact same thing. So I was going through a major issue past couple of months, and yesterday would have been should have been the end of that journey, but it kept going. And I've been trying to fix this problem for a while. And anytime I'm trying to fix something, whether it's a car, whether it's a house, whatever it is, whether it's some work that my daughter's doing, whatever it is, whenever I'm trying to fix something, I get to a point where I don't understand what I'm doing. That's when the frustration comes in. That's when our frustration takes over. That's when you have to practice transforming your mind so that you realize, like you were saying earlier, Cassandra, that it's just a storm and it'll pass. So what happened yesterday brought me back to my childhood. And I was sitting and I was thinking to myself, man, I'm so angry. I'm so angry. I could punch a wall. And there would have been a time that I would have punched that wall. I would have punched multiple holes in the wall. We would have had to call out contracts to come fix the wall. And my mom would have been sitting up there like, oh my God, I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't. Now, looking back over that, I can really revel in that transformation because yesterday when it happened, I sat there and I thought for a few minutes. You take this down. And I remember over the years my mom saying to me, you have to keep telling yourself over and over again that you'll get through it. It's just a moment and it'll pass. And she said, just give yourself 2 minutes to be upset and then move past it. And then I started saying over years, oh yeah, I get upset about stuff. I'm only going to be upset for about 2 minutes. And then I'll go right back to figuring out solutions and living my life. I'm not going to be upset all day because whatever it is, either I can do something about it or I can't. And if I can't, there's no need in me thinking about it. And if I can, then let's start working on that solution. Focus less on the problem. And I kept hearing my mom's voice yesterday and almost giving me, a little accommodation, like, good job, I see you. And I thought to myself, man, wow. For years I had been saying to myself, training my brain, hey, only be upset for 2 minutes and then get back into the thick of it and either figure it out or move on. And it actually happened yesterday. That was a transformative realization. That was an epiphany, a transformative epiphany for me. That what my mom had instilled in me, what she had worked so diligently to make sure I understood, I enacted, and I utilized, I actually did it. That was an enlightened moment for me. The transformation actually happened, but it doesn't start overnight. It doesn't start without action, and you're gonna have to keep it going. Right? You can't just. It's like going to the gym. Your mind is a muscle. You can't just go to the gym today right? Or even for a year, get all buff and think it's over. Now, if you want to stay looking good, if you want to stay buff, you're gonna have to keep going to that gym for the rest of your life. It's the same thing with transforming your mind. You don't just get to transform it today. You don't just get to have a transformed mind for the last 10 years. If you want a transformed mind next year, to tomorrow, the next minute, you're gonna have to keep working at it. So you have to leave these, you have to have these triggers. You have to acknowledge them. You have to work to not only remove them, but replace them with something positive. So instead of me focusing on the negative, mom used to tell me, think about something good, think about rainbows, think about Christmas. You always like getting stuff. You have to do that so that you can move forward with that transformation. Put those things into place that work for you, and your mind will start to work for you. You will transform your mind, but you have to work it. That's all I got, Cassandra. Transformative period for me.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That was the thing that was brilliant about what his mom did was she said, think about it for a few minutes. Give yourself a few minutes. That's the acknowledgement. When we press down our emotions, we build an emotional volcano. And all that stuff is just rumbling under the surface. And it will take just the smallest thing, right, to tip us over. And before you know it, like the eruption of a volcano, all those emotions are coming out, spilling over everything, burning everybody and everything in their path. We've all been there. We've pressed and we've pressed, we've smiled and we've pretended. That's where we go wrong. We can't pretend. Life's, and sometimes life's all over us. Sometimes it's so difficult. We're going through something that the rug was ripped from under you. You've lost your balance, right? In those moments, I'm not going to look at myself and go, oh, this is such a blessing. This is the greatest day of my life. All is well. I have to acknowledge what's going on. I have to. I'm really upset right now because of blah, 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 blah. But like Brian, I'm going to give myself a moment, right, to deal with those emotions. And once I've acknowledged them and I've dealt with them, then it's time to get back into focus, right? Lean into the transformation that has already taken place and allow that to be my default behavior. If punching walls was your default behavior, the most natural thing in the world for you to do when you're upset is to punch a wall. It may be so strange to the next person. It may be over the top. It's like, oh my God, what is wrong with that guy? That was the most natural thing for you to do when you erupted, when things got hot enough, when you were angry enough. That was your default, right? So when you acknowledge those emotions and you make the determination that you're going to manage them differently, I am going to get through this situation. I don't like it. In my past, this was a wall punching situation, but I'm not that guy anymore, right? I know what it feels like. Didn't feel good to punch a wall. I've probably had some injuries that I could think back on when I hit that wrong wall. I've got some financial responsibilities that I have to take care of now. Unless I want to live in a room that looks like Swiss cheese, I've got to get those contractors out and repair what I did in that moment of anger. There's some consequences, right? I don't want those consequences. When I punched that wall, I got some relief. There was a reason I was punching the wall. I wasn't punching it because I wanted to hurt my hand. I wasn't punching it because I wanted the wall to be busted. That was how I relieved that stress. So I need a new relief valve, right? I can go outside and I can walk it out. I can turn up the music real loud and allow it to take me away. I can pick up the phone and call somebody that I trust that I can dump my bucket, right? I can pray, right? I can write it out. I can write my feelings. I tell my son all the time, he has the punching bag in the garage because he does MMA training. And when there's certain things there's certain behaviors that he has
He's not a wall puncher, but he has some unhealthy ways of relieving stress. So I told him that every time you feel the urge to do that, go punch that bag. Go grab the rope and jump. Go run a block. If you need physical release, give yourself physical release. But just do it in a way that's healthy. And working that bag and jumping that rope and running that block, not only is he relieving that stress, but he's also building up the body to prepare himself for his next event. Twofold, right? Getting two for the price of one. But it takes acknowledgement first. When you punch the wall, you can get so frustrated with yourself for taking that action that it actually becomes a part of that mental cycle, that frustration cycle, that stress cycle. Now you are mad about whatever caused you to take that punching action. And now you're even more mad by the fact that you punched, and that cycle just keeps going. It's a pattern, and we can choose at any point in time to change our patterns. It all starts with awareness, with decisions, followed by action. It's mental first. It's mental first. That's why that real transformation begins in the mind. I'm not going to punch the wall. I may punch a psychological wall. I may punch through an emotional wall, but I am absolutely not going to punch a physical wall. It's a choice. And it's hard to make those choices in the heat of the moment. That's why you start today making decisions about how you're going to show up tomorrow so that that transformation has the opportunity to actually come to fruition. If he never got that mad again, where he had one of those situations where he thought about punching a wall, he wouldn't even know that the transformation had taken place. It's part of the process. Now you know. Now, whatever you did in place of punching that wall becomes the new default if you keep doing that. One day you may get so blown away that you actually punch it. What does that mean? Does that mean you're all the way back at square one? Mm-mm. Doesn't mean you'll punch the next one. It means that you're human. Every once in a while, we take our eye off the prize and we slide back into old behavior. And the worst thing that we could do in that moment is beat ourselves up. I knew I wasn't any better than I was when I was 18. I should have grown by now. You have. You had a moment. You acknowledge that moment and you get right back right back on your journey. We don't allow moments to define us. We allow moments to illuminate us and show us where there's work to do, to show us where there's been progress. Those moments give us light into something if we choose to look at it. It lights things up. Man, I've got things lighting up all around me right now. And I'm seeing places where things have to change in me, where there's opportunity for me to continue my transformation journey. I see opportunities for me to change my environment where I have to spend my time with some different folks, right? Who are feeding the journey instead of holding me back. Those are decisions that only I can make. If I allow somebody else to make it, it becomes their journey. I'm on their pit stop instead of mine. They may be gassing me up when I really need my tires rotated. You have to take ownership of your journey. You take ownership of your transformation, because the only person that will and can do the work is you. So you begin by acknowledging that there's some work to be done. Identify what that work is. Commit that you're going to do it. And then it comes down to good old grit and determination and discipline, rolling up those sleeves and getting to work. You're not going to wish a tree to fall. You got to chop it down. It takes work, right? And it takes work for us to overcome the things that we want to change. It takes work. All the positive talking and mindset and showing up for stuff and going to classes and listening to all this positivity, if you never do anything differently, you're not going to have anything different. That's that 85% we talk about. 85% of the folks who go to things like this, who go to conferences, who read the books, who listen to the podcast, who make the goals, 85% of them don't do anything with that stuff. That's because they get motivated, they get inspired, they get excited, they get motivated. But that's all emotional, right? That's why it's so important to have community. Now that I'm all motivated, now that I'm making these new decisions for myself, setting these goals, who can I trust to walk this journey with me? Who can I drop these plans on so that they celebrate with me when I'm winning, and they pour into me and they uplift me and they encourage me when things are not going well. They also hold me accountable and put that mirror in my face when I'm not doing what it is that I said I was going to do, right? You go from motivated, and then you add on the accountability of your network, of somebody that you trust, and then it still takes the discipline. You have to roll up your sleeves and you have to go to work. You have to get mad. I don't like how my life is going. I'm so mad. I'm not angry. Angry is destructive. Angry gets in the way. Angry keeps us focused on our emotions and not on the solution. I want you to get mad. I want you to be motivated. Yes. I want you to have an accountability partner. Absolutely. And you have to be disciplined, motivated, accountable. Disciplined will win every time. So you do get to get mad. You do. Just don't waste your energy on anger. That's not going to help you at all. But when you're mad, there is nothing that you can't accomplish. If you set your goals on it, I'm motivated. I'm inspired. I'm going to get there. Let me tell my crew what I'm planning so they can keep me accountable. And now I'm at that commitment stage. I said I was going to do it. I have to take that first step. That's where the discipline kicks in, because some days you're not going to be motivated. Some days the network may not be around and it's just you. And you have to make the decision to do the things that you said you were going to do. That's where the discipline kicks in. That's how we lessen that 85% and start to grow that 15. So we have more people committing to their goals, following through, and actually doing the work to get those things done. You can purpose in your heart. You can decide that you're not going to be a part of the 85. You're the only one that can decide that. Hello, Dawn. I see you out there as well. A few more comments have come in, and then I'm going to give you guys the actionable steps, and then we're going to wrap this up in the next 10 minutes. Hello, Mr. Carter. It's always good to see you, my friend. Conchita says, another amazing day to give thanks. Terrific Tuesday to everyone. Conchita said, Brian, great homage paid to your mother's profound wisdom. Those mommy moments can provide eternal transformation. It's the supernatural gift that God bestows upon mothers. Oh, I love that. Conchita says, love that suggestion, Cassandra, of releasing frustration through physical activity in a positive manner. I shadow box in the mirror to help with mental and emotional balancing. Yeah, though when we work up, get that heart rate up, we work up a sweat, we're also releasing endorphins. There's a chemical reward. Endorphins are the feel-good natural drugs. They're not the ones that are going to get you in trouble, put you to sleep so you can have you so zoned out that you can't focus. No, those endorphins, they give you energy, they give you clarity, they make you feel good, and they are readily available to us. All we have to do is a little bit of physical activity and get that heart rate up. And as that heart rate is coming up and those hormones are being released, we feel all of those things. You start to calm down. You start to get more centered. That puts you in a solution-based space. Now you're able to think clearly. You're able to plan. You're able to make good decisions. Before that, you're ready to punch that wall because you've got all of that angst that's bubbling underneath inside you. There has to be a way to get it out. You just have to choose a way that's going to be beneficial to you. All right. Conchita also said, we don't allow moments to define us, but illuminate us. Take ownership of your journey. Good stuff today, Cassandra. Thank you, Conchita. Hey, Dawn, I see you out there. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad that you are here. And I see my cousin Jackie. See you watching. Welcome, cousin. Always good to see you also. So we are going to jump into those steps. How do you, and we've talked about some of this already. How do you aid your transformation journey? How do you start to move from where you are to where you would like to be? Remember, it starts right now. It's not a future event. It's a present day activity. What am I doing in that present day? First, you need to reflect on your current habits. If you're so accustomed to punching a wall, you may not even think anything about punching a wall. You have to create some space and stop and think and go, what do I do in those moments? Is that the best thing for me? Right? Is that how I want to show up? You have to actually do that reflection and give yourself the space to think and look at possibilities of doing things differently. So reflect on your current habits and then determine what current habits you have that no longer serve you and start to think about what you would like to do differently. Instead of punching that wall, I'm going to go for a run. That's the decision, right? That's something you could come up in your reflection. And then you need to set some small, achievable goals. I am not going to go run a mile the first time out. I may just run from my front door to the edge of my driveway and back a couple times. Get those endorphins up, but start to make that brain connection between stress and the run. Because eventually your body will crave the run. Eventually that will become your default. And as soon as you start to get too worked up, your thoughts will be, oh, I need to go for a run. But you'll be thinking and able to do something differently. So set a small, achievable goal. Maybe I'm just going to go for a walk for 5 minutes. Allow myself to get recentered, and then I'll come back and tackle whatever it was that got me all worked up in the first place. And then it's 10 minutes. And then maybe you work up to a whole hour. And now instead of walking, you did decide that you want to jog a little bit. Small, achievable goals building upon themselves to get you where it is you need to be. I think it's important to create a daily affirmation. I think you start your day speaking life over yourself, telling yourself what you're going to do and that you're capable and deserving of doing it. You are more than able to accomplish anything that you want out of this life, but it starts with believing it. So those affirmations, I've sent them out many times. I have a list of either 25 or 50. I can't remember. So if you don't have affirmations for yourself, DM me. I can send you a list. You can choose the one or two or however many that really resonate with you, or you can just read through the list and allow that to help you create your own. Those of you that are a part of the SOAR Collective, every morning at 7 a.m. Central, you get your affirmation for the day. I don't want you to just read it. I want you to say it out loud. I want you to reflect on it, because it comes first thing in the morning, even before we start the show, because that is giving you the opportunity in your space, in your personal time, in your own voice, not hearing my voice, but hearing you speak life over you. It's important. So use those affirmations and allow them to become your new way of thinking and your new way of charging yourself up and getting yourself ready for your day. Reflect on past successes. You've had them. You probably focus on the things that didn't go right, and you can run that list without even a pause. We all have that list of everything we wish was different. But you should have a brag book. You should have a list of the things that you've done well, the accomplishments that you've had. And I'm not talking about the next promotion, the raise, the purchasing of the house. Those are all great things. But I think the example that Brian gave was so powerful. The transformation from punching that wall to being able to sit back and think and make a different choice. That's a huge success. And that's something that the next time he's angry, frustrated, sad, whatever the emotion was that got him there, right? He can remember that moment when he chose differently. He chose wisely. We reflect on those past successes because that's encouraging. That's letting us know, that's reminding us of the fact that we're capable. It's one thing for me to say you're capable, it's another thing for you to believe that you're capable. And reflecting on those past successes can help you shift from hearing it from someone else to believing it within yourself. And then you want to track your progress. That's what Brian just did for us. He gave us a glimpse into his past. He gave us the wisdom that was poured into him to help him make a different decision. And then he showed us that different decision. So we got to see a journey in his life. And that progress is something that he'll be able to track and continue to track. I used to be this way. Now I'm that way. I used to handle things this way. Now this is what I do. Many of us we almost automatically push away those times in our lives where we were not at our best. I was watching with my daughter a podcast yesterday, and it was this young lady. She used to be she used to be in the background of a lady who is famous and has her own podcast and all kinds of things. She's actually famous as a performer, and she was in the background supporting this lady, and they did a podcast together. And that was her first time in the forefront, and she became famous on her own. And now she has a very strong Christian journey. And she was talking about the struggle that she feels when she looks back at her Instagram and things like that. She was like, there's a part of me, the me that's now, who wouldn't do some of the things I did, who wouldn't wear some of the things that I wore, who wouldn't present myself in some of the ways that I did. There's a part of me that wants to go and just delete all that stuff so that people see me and they don't dig back in my history and go, she's not what I thought she was. But what keeps her from doing that is she doesn't want to erase the journey. She doesn't want to erase the progress because there's somebody who's where she was. They can see what's possible for them. If she just looks like she's all spit and polished and holier than thou her entire life, if that's all she ever shows, her journey would look so impossible to some. But she went through a transformation. She had a spiritual transformation that makes her show up differently in her life. And when she talks about some of the pictures and different things that are on there, you can see her face change and her eyes roll a little bit. And she was like, I struggled with this. I so want to erase that. But the fact that it's still there is powerful. It's going to help somebody. And it shows her progress. And she can remember and see the journey that she's taken. And when she is having difficulties, she can easily see how far she's come. It's important. Looking back, that's what we're looking for, the progress and the lessons. And so she leaves that stuff up there. Seek feedback. Who do you trust? Who do you know will give you honest answers in love? There's so many people, and in my particular community and in my particular family, you hear it all the time, this tough love stuff, and I just tell it like it is, and people know if they come to me, they're going to get the truth. But you know what? You can serve me filet mignon with lobster on the side, and if you put it on a dirty plate, if you put it on the lid of a trash can, it was just devalued. Now all of a sudden, I don't want to eat that good meal that you've prepared. How you deliver that message, whether it's wrapped in love or condemnation, matters. Whether it's judgmental or freeing, matters. So be careful how you share your feedback, because there's a whole person on the other end of it, with their story, with their journey, with their hearts wide open when they ask you for it. And if you're not mindful of that, and if you don't realize the honor that comes from somebody caring enough about you to ask for your feedback, to ask for your opinion, if you don't realize that you're in a state to where you are being honored, Don't show up less than honorable when you're being honored. Don't get so caught up in what you know that you hand that filet mignon on the lid of a trash can. Don't give it to them on a dirty plate. Wrap it in love. Yes, there's accountability. Yes, there's truth, but how you deliver that truth matters. I'm not interested in your holier than thou truth that punches me in my face. I'm not. Even if it's factual, I'm not interested because you've devalued the process in your delivery. And if you get joy out of whipping other people into shape instead of loving them into shape, you can keep your feedback. I don't even want it. Don't care who you are. Not interested. The delivery matters because there's a person on the other end, and either you're lifting that person up or you're tearing them down. And that's your decision to make. I'm just asking you to choose wisely. We go around punching people and hurting people all the time in the name of honesty and truth. You can be honest and truth, and you can be kind. I challenge you to try it. It's a much better delivery. Now I've got this beautiful meal on a nice clean plate with great utensils, and I'm ready to dig in and eat what you served me, right? Because I can. It's palatable. I can do something with it. And then finally, adjust and adapt. We are always assessing. We're always taking a look at what we're doing, who we are, how we're showing up, how we're thinking, the goals that we have set for ourselves. We're tracking that progress. And then we take a look at how it's going. Okay, I said this is a place I wanted to be. I'm here. How does this feel? Is it what I thought it was going to be? What do I need to do next? You have those conversations with yourself so you can make the necessary adjustments. You can adapt where necessary and keep moving forward. So those are your actionable steps for today. I see one more comment has come in. Sonia said, your strength is better than your struggle. I love that. I love that. Thank you for sharing that, Sonia. Marie Ryerson, I don't know if I've seen you here before. So a big old welcome to you. I hope you'll come back and join us again tomorrow. Nelva, my sister, welcome, welcome, welcome. Sonia, did you get Nelva up or did she do it all on her own? We'll have to talk later. I'm glad you're here, Nelva. Let's see. And SG Simons. Hey, Sandra, welcome, welcome, welcome. Classmate, I am glad that you are here as well. We are wrapping it up. So you guys, I hope those actionable steps are beneficial. We are going to be shutting it down now. I'm about 5 minutes late for my next appointment, so I gotta go. But I do want to remind you that we will be back here tomorrow for Wake Up Wednesday, where we talk about the power of intentionality. We'll be here at 7:15 a.m. Central, just like every other day. So join us for Wake Up Wednesday. You guys have heard me talking about our vision board party that's coming up on June the 22nd, which is a Saturday at 2 p.m. We'll spend a couple of hours together. A goal setting workshop followed by the opportunity for you to create your vision board. It's all virtual, so you guys can do it from wherever you are. I'll tell you everything you need to have to be prepared for the event. Go to findyourvision.today and get registered and join us on June 22nd for the Dream, Design, Deliver Vision Board Party. It all starts with a dream. It all starts here. And that design is where you make the commitment for whatever it is that you're going to do. And then, just like we've been talking about, you have to roll up your sleeves and get to work and actually implement those plans. And that's when you deliver for yourself and for your community. Whatever it is you want to accomplish, it's within you to do. So let's just get busy and get it done. All right, Kim, talk to you soon. You have a good one as well. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We'll see you back here tomorrow.